Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Season 2, Episode 9 of The Walking Dead titled Triggerfinger. So, we start off with Lori in her car crash. And to her credit, she does manage to kill 2 walkers. She nearly dies, but to her credit, she gets them. She wouldn't need to have gotten them if, she didn't go off all half-cocked and all that, but whatever. So they realize back at the farm that Lori's gone because Daryl's like, oh yeah, she came and asked me to be her errand boy. So Shane goes out to get her. He gets her, and to get her back home, he lies and says that Rick and them were already back. I don't blame Shane for lying to her. I very much agree that this was the correct decision. Lori was in a car crash. She was still injured, and she was still trying to make her way to town. I agree with Shane. She needed to, just go back. And then he proceeds to be an asshole and kind of reveal to everybody in the group that, hey, yeah, I'm just trying to protect you and the baby. Nobody knew she was pregnant, dude. Asshole. So, meanwhile, back at the bar, Dave and Tony's friends show up and start shooting. So, they start shooting back. Trying to. Glenn kind of freezes, making them think that they got hit. Meanwhile, Herschel has gone point blank from, oh, the walkers, they're still people, to, man, fuck people, time to shoot everybody. Because he kills one person indirectly. He shoots the man, he goes down, and he gets devoured. They eventually regroup, but one person gets caught up impales himself on a gate. His leg on a gate, and Rick wants to save him. Herschel and Glenn are just like, nah, let's leave him. Herschel's even like, we should just put him in a bullet in his brain. That's the merciful thing to do. And all I gotta say is this guy is so fucking lucky it was Season 2, Episode 9 Rick that found his ass. Because any other Rick, like maybe a couple episodes past this point, he is not saving someone who was just 2 minutes ago shooting at him while there's walkers crawling around. Hell, he's probably going back to kill him. Yeah. If anything, he's going to be doing what Herschel did a couple minutes ago. Using the wounded person as bait for the walkers to draw away. But Rick will probably do it more deliberately. So they get back to the farm. They're trying to gear up. Back at the farm, they're trying to gear up to go get Rick and them. And Dale's trying to convince Andrea not to go. I don't know. Dale's obsession with Andrea is kind of annoying a bit. I understand what they're trying to go with. I understand where they're trying to go with it, I guess. But it is kind of annoying. Getting kind of annoying. He is trying to convince her that Shane's dangerous, but Andrea's not seeing it. She does confront Shane later that he's got all the right ideas. His just execution is pretty shit. Like calling the search off for Sophia, which I don't think was a right idea, but okay. The walkers in the barn, right idea. We need to deal with them. Just execution poorly. Going to get Lori, lying to Lori. There was no other execution to have. That's not on. Yeah, there was no other execution to have unless you wanted him just knock her out and drag her ass. But yeah, she wasn't coming back without the lie, so there's not much else. I think the only problem with that is he said, "'Cause I love you, Lori." Yeah. I'm sorry. It was a. I love you, man. You gotta rub the head. He also straight admits that, he's only doing everything for Lori and Carl. Everybody else in the group can get fucked. So, they get back and with Randall, who's the guy who got his leg impaled. And I agree with the sentiments, What if he wakes up and we let him go and he comes back with all his buddies? Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with the sentiment. I'm not on Rick's side with this. I'd have left the guy shooting me to die. Maybe call me a monster. all right. I'm not. No, that's. So, Herschel lays down the law, basically saying, I wanted to kick you to Shane. I wanted to kick you off. Rick convinced me otherwise, but this is my farm and this is my land, you know, and you'll follow my rules. There's a nice conversation between Glenn and Maggie, where Glenn kind of blames Maggie for the shootout, his part in the shootout, because he says he froze because he thought about Maggie, which is just like, kind of seems fabricated. Like they needed a reason for them to be a problem between Glenn and Maggie, and this is the best they could come up with. I don't know how much I really like that. We have Daryl, I guess, getting up in his feelings and not knowing how to deal with them, so he's just trying to push everyone away, but luckily, Carol's like, nah, that's not gonna work for me, brother. Carol Hogan in a good way. That's not gonna work for me, brother. So the episode ends with Lori basically telling Rick that she thinks he's gonna have to kill Shane, because Shane, saying all these assumptions about Shane, some of them are right, like, he did leave Otis to die, yeah. Overall, this episode was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. It gave us some good character beats with Andrea and Maggie's little conversation about Beth, you know, just like a conversation about a story, an anecdote from the past, which made them seem like actual people instead of characters. I really loved Herschel this episode. Also, I don't agree with Andrea saying that calling off the search for Sophia was right, because it gives the survivors something that's very rare these days: hope. Hope that maybe one of these days they'll find Sophia. Is it false hope? Yes, but at the same time, you can't really be beggars and choosers with hope. Also, it's kind of twofold. They go out there, they get away, they kind of get to know the land, you know. They see a walker, they kill a walker. That's one walker that can't make its way back to camp. They hunt, you know. It's not completely stupid. Like, they're getting away of the land. And you got to think, they're probably planning on staying there for the long haul, so, you know. I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.